Hey everybody, you're watching CAD Roll Hunter, and one of the things we love to do on this channel is search through lots of coins and see if we can find anything rare or valuable. We call this coin roll hunting, and today I've got a whole box of Canadian nickels. We're gonna see what we can find. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, this is James and you're watching my channel CAD Roll Hunter. We do a lot of things on this channel, looking at collections, looking at old coins. Particularly what I love to do though is look through rolls of coins from the bank to see if I can find things that other folks would have just rolled up and sent back. It's called coin roll hunting if you're not familiar with it. There are a bunch of other channels on the internet that do this, and I love to do this with Canadian coins primarily. And so what we have here is a box of coins that I just bought from the bank. So this is $100 in nickels. I just went to the bank and said, can I get a box of nickels? And that is going to be 50 rolls. So they will sell them to you. Not every branch is going to be quite as eager. They tend to want to save their coins for their business customers. So it really takes perhaps building a relationship with your tellers. In any case, I've got a great relationship with my tellers. What I'm often typically looking for, of course, are these customer wrapped rolls. They can be like this with one rolled end and another one is just open. Sometimes it's these plastic rolls that are a little bit hard to deal with. These are kind of cool in that you can see what's in it without opening it, but they're a bit of a pain. And customer wrapped in Canada is desirable because these are coins that customers have just taken from home or their business, wrapped up and brought to the bank. Anything could be in it. Could be old coins, could be new stuff, could be special stuff, could be foreign coins, lots of interesting things to find. Machine wrapped rolls, like what is very common in the States, typically are from Canada's Alloy Recovery Program, ARP. And ARP means no old coins. The mint is actively taking old coins that might have been made of nickel or copper or silver, depending on the denomination, and they're melting them down and selling the metals to fund the production of new coins, which are just made of steel, which is far cheaper to produce. So customer wrapped means we've got a chance for older stuff. And I love nickels because we've got a pretty decent chance of finding something old. So we're going to get into this. We're looking to upgrade or fill some spots in our Lighthouse Vista Canada album. And we'll have a look at that at the end if we've got anything we can upgrade. So let's just dive into it. So I've laid out roll number one here. I just pulled them out of the roll and lined them up, and then I look through them one at a time. In Canada, these are technically called 5-cent pieces. They're not actually technically called nickels. However, colloquially, every day we call these nickels, and that's because primarily, up until 1981 that is, these were made of nickel. That wasn't always the case, of course. Before 1922, Canadian 5-cent pieces were smaller coins made of silver. We're not going to find any of those in these rolls, unfortunately. That would be super cool. But after 1981, the mint changed the composition to copper nickel, and then around 2000, they changed it to multiply plated steel. So if we find anything from 81 or earlier in here, we're going to put it in the nickel cup here because nickel is more valuable than the face value of the coin. So I just hold on to that. I haven't sold any nickel. You can't actually melt down Canadian coins. It's illegal in Canada. So I'm just holding on to it. And just if the price goes up, perhaps nickel coins might trade just the way that silver coins do for their base metal value. Roll number one didn't have anything composed of nickel that I would have held on to, but there were a lot of coins from the 80s and the 90s that would have been copper nickel. I'm not holding on to those. It's just not quite worth it at this point in time. But it means that we've got some older coins. There's a chance we might find something. But we've got a newer one here I want to show you. This is King Charles III. The only question is it a 2023 or a 2024? Because I haven't found a 2024 yet in circulation. And it's going to be that 2023, and it looks like a pretty nice one. I'll hold on to that one for now. They're not low mintage like we thought they might be when these were first released, but that's a beautiful coin. Roll number three, we've got a commemorative. It is a 2005 commemorating the 60th anniversary of the end of World War II. Very reminiscent of the Victory nickels from the 1940s. So we're 10 rolls in and we have found exactly nothing. Not even any older nickels for the nickel cup, which is unusual. So no finds for the board, no laureate portraits, certainly no King George VI. So when that happens, I wonder sometimes, I mean, this is just representative of what's circulating because the mint is actively taking the older stuff out. However, it also might mean that there's another coin roll hunter in the area who has returned this box to my bank where I picked it up to look through. And if that's the case, we're not going to find anything in here. One thing you might have seen is that there are some scribbles, initials, or something on the box. Oftentimes when these boxes are packed up, the teller will initial it to, say she's counted or he's counted and say there's 50 rolls in here. But this is a sign, it could be from a coin roll hunter saying, I've looked through this box and if I go back to a bank, I don't want to pick it up again, so I'll mark it. The rolls themselves aren't marked. That would be common. Sometimes you might see ink on the bottom or a line on the side or something like that. Coin roll hunters do that so they don't look through the same coins they've already looked through, or sometimes as a courtesy to other coin roll hunters. We're just going to have to get through. These may or may not all be from the same person. So we could get partway through and then start to find things. You just don't know. That's why you have to open every roll. No matter how bleak it is, you might still find something interesting. Roll number 14, we haven't had a lot to look at, but here is a 1996, and there are a few varieties we want to look for in 1996. So even if this box was hunted by another coin roll hunter, they may have overlooked some varieties. We'll throw this one under the scope and I'll show you what we're looking for. So what we're looking at here is the 6 and how close it is to the D. There are a few varieties to look for. One is the near 6. That's what this appears to be. The less common one is the far 6. So this 6 appears lower and there's a bigger gap between the D and the 6. The other one, and one I've found, is the attached 6. It's just a die variety. There's a die chip between the D and the 6 that makes it look like it's attached. That's a cool one to find. So if you find a 1996, you want to look. The attached 6 is actually fairly valuable, and there are different varieties you might find, including what I've found is the Crown on Beaver die clash, which what that is the two dies clashed in the chamber and left an impression of one another. And so what you end up seeing above the beaver is the impression of the queen's crown from the other side of the coin. And it's really significant when I look at this. You see all these jewels here are visible along the back of the beaver, which is really crazy. So you want to look out for those sorts of things too. So if you were looking for signs that rolls had been hunted, one thing might be that all of the coins are facing the same direction. What this shows me is that somebody who rolled these up was very meticulous. Well, they missed that one, but up until now, every coin in this roll was showing the beaver side up, which tells me that somebody has looked through this meticulously, counted things, looked at everything, all the dates. It might not have missed anything. We're not even halfway through. We still haven't found anything. This hunt isn't going so well, but I post every hunt that I do, so you get a good, true picture of what coin roll hunting might look like. I've found lots of great things in my hunts, and sometimes you just don't get much, and sometimes you get nothing at all. But we'll find out. We won't know for sure until we've looked through all 50 rolls. Some other potentially telltale signs that rolls have been hunted is tape. Tape is often used in rolls when somebody rolls their coins up to seal the end of a roll, or particularly in these plastic ones to hold them together. And if you're handling only a handful of rolls, it's important because you don't want it to spill out. You can see that some of these have been cut. The tape has been cut and it wasn't retaped because somebody who is opening up all of these quickly, looking through everything and putting them back in a box where they're not going to spill out, isn't so concerned about the roll falling apart or things coming out. So that's another sign. I often have to cut the tape when I am doing coin roll hunting when they've been taped up. Somebody's done the same here and they haven't bothered to retape. So just another sign that you might want to look for. Not to say that it absolutely has been hunted if you find rolls like that. It just suggests that it may have been. The tricky thing, of course, is if you see any signs that these rolls may have been hunted, like, marker on them or whatever, you don't know necessarily when that mark was put on there or when that tape was cut. Was it the last time somebody went in and roll hunted, or was it a couple of times before that? Because often these get reused over and over and over again, so you just don't know. But if all 50 of them look like they've been looked at, that might be a sign. Well, that was pretty rough. 50 rolls hunted, and we got absolutely nothing. Not even one sole nickel for the nickel cup. It was a pretty tough hunt, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. This box was absolutely hunted. There's no question about it. And one thought I had was, is somebody using my bank as a dump bank, bringing back their hunted coins? And I don't think so. I would likely have seen that more often. I think what happens is that some of these are distributed via a network of banks. So when one bank has more coins than they need, they just get distributed out to another branch. So at least that's what I'm hoping. I cross my fingers on that one. What I think I'm going to have to do is find another box of nickels to put this together with, because we got nothing and it was not very interesting. So if I get more nickels, I'll be right back with those. Okay, well, what seemed like just a second to you guys was probably about a week for me, but I did get another box of nickels here. You'll see I've got my nickel cup, the sad empty nickel cup. We're hoping to put something in it. I've opened this box up. We've got customer wrapped rolls. I don't see any shenanigans going on here. None of the rolls look like they've been opened and resealed, because you never know. And I thought I saw an older ender. Maybe right here. No, that's not it. I think, well, who knows? This looks better. Let's get into it. We're going to start with roll 51 of this hunt. Okay, roll number one, things are looking up. We got here a 1968. It's just a normal 1968, but is 100% nickel, and it's going in the nickel cup. 51 rolls it took to get one nickel in the nickel cup, but that is an improvement for sure. A little further back, we got a King Charles III, and it's going to be another 2023. We're still on the lookout for a 2024, but check this out. We got a low mintage 1991. It's in relatively good shape, but it's got a bit of gunk on it here. A lot of these coins have some stuff on it. You can see there's some sticky residue on there, but 1991 is a good one to find. Roll 3, we're going to get another low mintage coin. It's a 2000, but this one is multiply plated steel. You can see that because of the P composition mark on this one. Got a bit of a scratch on it, but it is a harder one to come by for sure. We'll set it aside on the board. Same roll, our first foreign coin. It's an American. It's a 2010 out of Philadelphia. And a little further back, one of my favorites, it's the 1967 commemorative of Centennial, sort of Centennial commemorative, 1967. It's the bunny nickel, and it looks to be in pretty nice condition. Look at that. So we're just in roll number 5. We've already got a respectable little bit of nickel here. I got a 1990 under the scope, and just taking a peek gives us a chance to look for the infamous bare belly, where some of this fur on the beaver's belly was rubbed off on the die, basically due to overpolishing, we believe. But not here. This is the standard 1990, but if we get any more of these, we'll have a chance to check, and they're fairly common. They're common enough that you can find one. I've probably found about 12. If I can find 12, you can find one. If you can find one, you can probably find 12 too. Roll number 7, we got ourselves a find. It is a laureate portrait. I can't believe I'm just so excited about a scratched up Queen Elizabeth II laureate portrait, but it is a 1963. Things have just been pretty tough so far this hunt, so I'll take it. Roll number 9, our second American. This one here is going to be a 2016 out of Philadelphia. Just at the end of roll number 10, we got a beautiful King Charles III, and when I flipped it over, it's a 2024. My first, I'll set that aside. We're just towards the middle of December, getting on that way anyway, and finally got a 2024 in circulation. That's awesome. Roll 11, another laureate portrait. This one, it's going to be a 1964. We can check it for the extra waterline. So this is not it. The extra waterline was actually a die crack going from this log just below the designer's initials here. It looked like another waterline in the design, but it was just a die crack, and that's a great one to find. Even in this kind of condition, it'll be worth at least $20, and you can still find them. I've got a couple. We're at roll number 20, and we're going to have an unexpected find in here. I don't know if you can see that, but we got a small reeded edge. We're going to have a dime in our nickel roll. I'll have to flip around here to see what we got. It sure looks like a dime. and it is going to be a 2022. Nothing special, but that's 5 cents more than a nickel's worth, so we're up. Roll 21, we've got another laureate portrait. We know it has to be a 63 or 64 because it's got a rounded edge. 62 and earlier had a 12-sided edge, so this one is going to be a 64. Again, no extra waterline. So I just laid out roll number 23 in my hand, and I can see a 12-sided edge right up here by my thumb. So we're going to have an older, it's either a laureate portrait, but it could be a King George VI. I'll have to carefully throw this down, and we'll see if we can find that edge and pull it out without messing too much up. And there it is, and it's going to be a laureate portrait. This one is a 1961. Roll 24, the second coin is going to be a US coin, but I think we've got a bunch in here, which is not uncommon in my part of Ontario, Canada. Nothing has been very old so far. Up until now, we've got 6 US nickels and nothing old worth mentioning, and these look like newer designs here, but if there is anything older, I'll certainly let you know. Roll 25, we're at the midpoint here. We got another 12-sided edge I didn't see until just now. Normally you can spot that edge. This one here, it's from the 50s. It's a 1958, and it's a pretty nice looking example too. That's a good find. Roll 30, this is our 14th US nickel, and it's our oldest one here. It's from 1964. Roll 31, and I see another 12-sided edge peeking out here. It's going to be another laureate portrait, and this one is a 1957. So this is our oldest one so far. So throw that 57 under the scope here because this is one of the varieties we can look for here. There's one called the bug tail, and basically there's a die chip at the end of the beaver's tail that people thought looked like a bug perhaps on the beaver's tail. That's one you can look for. We don't have it here, but if you find a 57, you got to look for that bug tail. That's a really neat variety to find. Roll 33, we've got another 1964. This is our third one, and once again, no sign of the extra waterline, but you want to check every single time. Roll 36, and check out this dandy. It's a 1968, and that could be an album upgrader for our Lighthouse Vista Canada album. We'll have to check and see, but that is a beauty. I'll set that aside, one to keep in any case. Roll number 42, and we found our 8th laureate portrait, and it is a dandy. Look at this one here. That is in a pretty good condition. It is a gorgeous 1963. So this is roll number 50 of this box. Roll number 100 of this hunt. We've got our 20th US we're going to throw into our pile of foreigns. Looks like we're going to have at least one more in here. So 21 US in total. And it doesn't look like we're going to have anything else in here. So I'll tidy these all up. We'll do a little bit of a wrap up. We finally found some things to report on. So 100 rolls of Canadian nickels hunted, and that first box was an absolute dud. We got nothing in the first 50 rolls. The second 50 rolls were a little bit better. We actually got some nickel, about half a cup, and that's actually pretty great for a box. We did really well. We got 21 US nickels. The oldest one is that 1964 right there. We got a dime, so we're up 5 cents. That's really cool. We got 8 laureate portrait nickels. We got a 61, a couple 63s. We got 3 1964s, no extra waterline. We got a couple from the 50s. We got a 57 and a 58. We got a couple 1967 commemorative bunny nickels. That one there being pretty nice. And if we go further down, we got a couple of lower mintage dates in the more modern years. We got a 1991 and a 2000p. We got this gorgeous 1968 there. Look at the gleam and the beautiful fields on that. And we know we're going to get at least one album filler because we got a stack of 2024s here. We're going to pick the best one of these to put in our Lighthouse Vista album. Right now, we're sitting at 92 of 122 spots, and I think that also includes the blank spot here for our 2024 that we don't have. But otherwise, we have pretty much everything else. There's a spot for a 2017 there. There's no circulating beaver nickel. They were in sets, but we haven't found one of those. But otherwise, we're doing pretty well. It's really just the NIFCs, the not intended for circulations, that we don't have. Until we get into the 50s, we still need a 54. We still need a 51, and in the 40s, there's a bunch that we need. And of course, into the 30s and the 20s, we've found a few of those King George V's, but we need them. But we're going to slot that 2024 in and actually fill a spot. So there it is. We got a couple of King Charles III now in this album, and we're up to 93 of 122 spots filled in this beautiful Lighthouse Vista Canada album. And if you want an album like this for your own collection to keep your finds in, you can find it at lighthousecanada.ca, lighthousecanada.ca, and use the exclusive discount code CRH20 to get 20% off your purchase. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. It's a pretty honest look at what coin roll hunting in Canada might get you. That first box, well, that's just the way it goes sometimes. It could be hunted or just be ARP or just nothing at all. I post every hunt that I find, even the ones that garner nothing. And of course, we've had some great ones too. So for coin roll hunting, you just have to be patient and go through enough boxes. You will find good stuff, guaranteed. Maybe not in your first box, maybe not every box, but you're bound to find something that someone else has overlooked. If you liked the video, please give it a like. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, CAD Roll Hunter, go ahead and click that button, do that. You'll be notified when all of my new videos come out. I have new videos coming out all the time. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again next time. The sponsors of today's video are Lighthouse Canada and the Charlton Press. Lighthouse Canada is the leading supplier of high-quality numismatic supplies in Canada, and the Charlton Press is the leading publisher of coin and paper money catalogs and price guides for Canadian collectors. Go check out their online stores today and use the exclusive discount code CRH20 for 20% off all your purchases.